James Gunn saying a very, very, very famous actor has pitched a DCU movie. Hold on, I feel like I have to sneeze. Oh, I guess not. Okay. The universe has already slated the upcoming movies and shows. Superman flies into theaters in under a month on July 11th. Supergirl arrives in less than a year on June 25th. And several other major projects are in development, including Clayface, Swamp Thing, Batman Brave and the Bold, Dynamic Duo, The Authority, Waller, Booster Gold, and the list goes on and on. Not to mention Matt Reeves' Elseworlds, the Batman franchise. Oh, yes. Good old Matt Reeves. Not making a movie, but producing a shit ton of them. But even on that plate, DC Studios co president James Gunn is still open to developing more projects, especially when they're pitched by insanely famous actors. There's just one catch, though: the script has to be a masterpiece. That's not fair because James Gunn can't say somebody's script has to be a masterpiece and then make a movie like Brightburn or the least like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I mean, I like Volume 2, but a lot of people don't. And I fucking hated the Suicide Squad. I thought that movie sucked. James Gunn recently sat down with Entertainment Weekly to discuss all things Superman and the DCU's Gods and Monsters phase of movies and shows. While the phase is already pretty mapped out, James Gunn said there's always room for more projects, especially under the Elseworlds label, the DCU's disconnected universe of movies and shows. The script still needs to be good, Gunn said of DC Studio Standard's new projects, or Standard for new projects. We are not going to make it unless we like the script, but I think that there are exceptions. Providing Superman is a hit with critics, the DCU is set to reignite. Yeah, watch him say this, and Superman fucking sucks. Oh man, how ironic that would be. As a result, James Gunn, Peter Safran, and other representatives are likely being in inundated with movie pitches. Even some immensely famous actors are getting on board the hype train. But Gunn admitted that the name isn't enough to sell a DC Studios movie, as the script has to be nothing short of a masterpiece. He explained, I told one person who came in and pitched something that was an Elseworlds tale. It was a very, very, very famous actor. I said, it depends on how the screenplay comes out. If it's a masterpiece, I'll make it, but it has to be a masterpiece. He laughs and he is like, I don't know if it's a masterpiece. He got all funny talking about the guy that pitched it. He's still working on it though. He's still trying to do it, so we'll see. Masterpiece might be pushing it, but it's got to be really great. All right. I think it's Quentin Tarantino. I think that's the person who pitched the movie. Oh, I guess he says it's an actor though, huh? Never mind. Okay. If it was an actor, I'd say Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino did stop uh, developing his movie, The Film Critic or The Critic. And if he had found something that he liked in DC, I could see Quentin Tarantino writing a DC movie. But he says specifically actor is doing a pitch. So I I think there's no way in hell it's Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't think it's going to be somebody older like Robert De Niro. And I'm just trying to think of who's on the hot list right now as far as actors go that are very, very famous. I'll be honest, I don't know. Very, very, very famous is a bold statement to make. So we'll see. Does anybody have any ideas? You guys let me know in the comments. James Gunn, let's continue with this. James Gunn cares more about a good script than a deadline. A movie is nothing without a script. The foundation of the entire project is built upon. Of course, there are exceptions, especially in genres like comedy, but to James Gunn and DC, a great script is paramount. So much so that he'd rather see a movie's development take longer than expected if it means getting the right script. Matt Reeves' The Batman is a quintessential example of this. Batman's taken forever to make, even though they already made the first one. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, again, with that, I am not sure what actor this would or would not be. Yeah. I mean, technically, Quentin Tarantino's an actor, so maybe James Gunn's messing with his words. But I think a pitched movie from a very, very, very famous person would be Quentin Tarantino. I'm kind of sticking to that, and Quentin Tarantino has acted before, so I'm going to stick to that. That's the kind of the only person. That's the first person that came to mind. That's what my gut tells me. And Quentin Tarantino would laugh and say, "I don't know if it's a masterpiece." He would say something like that. I could see him doing something like that. So I'm going to stick with that. I have no, I have obviously no inside sources. There's only two people watching the stream right now, and one of them's me. So, but that's what my gut tells me, or somebody along those lines. So with that, go ahead and let me know, who do you think this mystery person is that has pitched this good movie, but not a perfect movie or a masterpiece movie to James Gunn for an Elseworlds tale. You go ahead and let me know down below.